Hello, people of the internet. I'm back again with another Interviews with YouTubers. Joining me today is...
I'm on TV. Hi, Mom.
Wandering Scarecrow.
No, you don't have to worry. My mom doesn't watch these things.
It's YouTube, not TV anyway.
Yeah, I don't think she knows how to use her computer.
They all are like that. So let's get straight into the question, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
What got you interested in doing things on YouTube?
Funny enough, it was because of a surgery I was about to have. Going on like 2.5 years ago, back in I guess you'd call it the summer of 2014. Yeah, 2014. I'd actually before that, it was about April of 2014. I found out that I had a growth on my occipital lobe, and for those out there who want to know where the occipital lobe is but can't be bothered looking it up, it's roughly behind your left ear. And apparently that was the cause for all the hallucinations I was having at that time. So they booked me and they put me on a waiting list and they got me into a hospital very fast to actually have my brain cut open. So I said to myself, well, if something goes wrong and if I start forgetting things, I want to at least have something that I can remember. So I said, I sat down with one of my artist friends and I said, I need you to design me a picture. I'm going to do a new YouTube narration and I need something to put up with it. And basically I did that narration, put it up online, and then had the surgery.
Okay. On your channel, what are the videos which you enjoy making the most?
One of my favorite types of videos to make is anything with Comrade Scarecrow. I recently did a backtrack of all my old videos just because I was bored and I wanted something to listen to, and I love the sound of my own voice, as most narrators do. And I fell upon the first few videos I made for Comrade Scarecrow Soviet Russia Pastime. And I remember how fun it was to both find these communist pastors, the ones that go along lines of in Soviet Russia at any moment, at any time, go to Stalin's grave and pray for great Stalin to come back and lead Communist Party with Putin as vice leader. Something along the lines of that. And then at the end of every episode, I'd have an advert. And so there was try Boris's beef and beer borscht. It's good for you, make you good, strong Russian comrade. Or Yurgi's House of Russian Vodka. Not really a place to go. It's just neighbor Yurgi drinks so much vodka. He built a house out of vodka. And like, as much as I love doing creepy, I can't get past how fun it is to do Comrade's voice, simply because he's such a fun character to be around.
Okay. What does your fan base mean to you?
I don't think I have a large fan base compared to a lot of the other narrators I've worked with. I think at last count it's about 150, so it's more than most. I consider them to be very close friends. I haven't really put out a narration in a while. I've been mainly just working on my writing, but I still, from time to time, get messages from people who love my narrations and want to let me know. It's always a delight to receive fan mail like that.
Okay. Any tips for narrators out there?
Just go nuts, really. Don't I was told multiple times by people that I didn't have the voice for narration, and I've luckily I've proved them wrong, because now I'm a part of a very elaborate podcast run by a good close friend of mine who I met at the start of my narration career. So basically, you just go out there. If you feel like you want to narrate something, go out and narrate. If you feel like you want to write something and then narrate it, do that. You don't need the best equipment at the start. I started with a basic gaming headset and a copy of Audacity. Lucky enough, I moved on to a bit higher equipment, but it doesn't change how you narrate. It's just, yeah, it might make something clearer, but you'll eventually learn over time these tips and tricks. You just go out and be yourself.
Okay. Do you enjoy doing collaborations?
I love doing collaborations, honestly. The podcast I mentioned earlier, it's a huge collaboration between a good 40 people. I love doing smaller collaborations. I love when people come to me asking for me to do a voice for them. I love working with a whole bunch of people, especially from my close-knit friends, simply because I always know that they, I know what they can bring, and it's always fun to just to mess around and have someone else be there for it.
Yeah, it is. Which YouTuber, other than yourself, do you watch or listen to the most?
I don't actually listen to a lot of YouTubers. The only one the only one from the narrator community that I'll listen to is Mr. Creepypasta, simply because his stories come out so frequently. He's probably the first narrator that I was listening to when I first found creepypasta narrations. Other than that, I might listen. If I get time, I'll listen to narrations by the Right Hand of Doom or Moosed Up Productions. But yeah, basically, I'm not really that much of a narrator listener. I prefer reading.
Okay. What's your favorite accent, other than Australian?
Because I found actually a lot of new accents recently. And it's a hard tie because you've got to love the Russian accent. They're like the antithesis of Australians, where Australians live in hot, sweaty climates with dangerous animals. Russians live in cold, freezing climates with dangerous animals. But then you have the German accent. It's a lot more professional. I'll find myself going into the German accent at work when I'm talking to the customers, telling them about the puppet. But then you get, your typical D&D player accent. It's just like, oh my God, Mom, where's the Mountain Dew? It's so hard to choose a favorite accent these days.
Yeah. Who would you want to play you, other than yourself, if your life was made into a movie?
Who to play me? Honestly, and I know there's probably no way that his voice would match mine, especially since he doesn't have the accent, but I'd love to have Ian McShane play me, simply because he has that immense, powerful growl in his voice. And he sounds so evil, but it is so warm at the exact same time.
That's cool. What would you do if you knew you could not fail?
Jump out of a plane without a parachute.
And land safely on the ground?
Probably. There have been stories of there was a woman who did that. She fell out of a plane without a parachute, hit the ground at 86 miles per hour, I believe, which should have killed her. Should have killed her instantly. But the fact that she landed on a fire ant nest and the pain jolted her heart awake.
That is quite spectacular, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so these next few are kind of grouped together. What is your name?
Wandering Scarecrow.
What is your quest?
To be the baddest motherfucker who ever lived in this land.
What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
African or European?
Well, I don't know. I always have to make that Monty Python reference.
I love that reference.
Yes.
I actually used it at school once. I was interviewing, I was actually asking questions to a physics teacher. And I said to him, what is the aerial speed of an unladen swallow? And he said, African or European? I'm like, African. And he actually told me.
Isn't it like... It's something. My dad, anytime I ask to get to my dad, he's like, about this number. It's like, how in the world do you know? Google it. When in doubt.
Yes, Google is your friend, children.
Yes, Google is your friend. If you were famous, would you want a statue or a building named after you?
Neither. I'm very modest with how I take fame. I don't want to be known. Like, if I ever got famous, I want to be someone who helps others, and I don't want things in my name. Like, yeah, I'd honestly love if the podcast got huge, but not for me. It's for everyone else who works so hard. If I ever was able to publish a book and got my name out there, I don't want to be so big that... One of the worst things that has come up in the news recently for Australia is that Madonna, great artist, came to Australia. In the 2 shows I heard about her, she turned up 3 hours late to each one. And that breaks my heart, because if I ever got famous, I'd be the guy who'd always be there before I was needed. I never want to let down any one of my fans, and I don't want something named after me, because it makes me feel like I'm bigger than someone else when I'm not. I'm just me.
Aw, you are such a delicate flower. A delicate Australian flower.
I will choke you.
I will pap you.
You are smaller than me. I will drop kick you 20 yards.
No, just no.
Yeah.
And I already know you're
yards.
coming to America eventually, so.
Eventually, maybe when the podcast gets famous enough, we have a live show.
Maybe. Anyway, do you like D&D?
Oh, hell yeah.
What is your favorite type of character to play in D&D?
Honestly, one of my favorite ones right now, because I'm playing him, is Lawful Good. Because, and it comes from the fact that right now I'm playing a paladin. And people complain about playing paladins because you have to be lawful good. And it's just like you have to be both within the law and be a good person. Whereas it's not supposed to be like that. It's law and good to what you believe. If, let's say, a king starts murdering people, murdering the firstborn because he hears a prophecy from his oracle that the firstborn child will kill him, and he makes it that law that the firstborn sons of the land must be killed. That isn't what my law dictates. So I've got all the right in the world to kill him. That, everyone should get justice in their time for what they've found. And that comes from a personal belief of my own, which is why I love playing Lawful Good, for the simple fact that any time that my character acts like an arsehole, I say, well, I'm lawful good, not lawful nice. Exactly. Though that being said, I always try to be as nice as I can. There'll be times where, like, I'll be high-strung simply because I'm trying to protect my church against a lot of people in our party are very evil orientated, and that's okay.
True. There are two people stealing bones.
Yeah, two people stealing bones. One particular vampire who is honestly a really nice woman outside of the game, who recently got herself a goblin, which is still fairly
And stuck
neat.
it in a bag of holding.
Yep,
Oh God.
with enough food, keep it
True.
alive. But
Our campaign's just hilarious.
that being said, I think might be some people who view my paladin as, you know, just a bit too high strung, and they take it out on me for it. Now, I'm not going to really name names here, but it's just like, well, I'm literally just playing a character. If I was actually in a D&D game, I'd be chaotic neutral, because I really don't care for most people, but I'll care for the ones I'm around.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of paladins, I once played a paladin in one of my campaigns that I was in, and the way my DM had it was that it's basically nope. It's I think it was lawful good or something, something where like no, can't do anything bad, and we were putting out a fire, and my brother, in air quotation marks, accidentally dumped a bucket of water on my character's head. She turned around, punched him, then he punched her back and critical fumbled, breaking his hand on her armor and made her fix it.
I actually worked out recently with the current weapon I have and
The bitch maker.
buffs. Yeah, the bitch maker, which is basically a great axe blessed by Samuel L. Jackson himself, which is my character god.
Yep.
Which gives a bonus to damage his charisma and strength modifier. At level 8, my paladin has a couple of spells that will boost his charisma and strength, as well as the fun fact that the drugs that some of our characters have.
Oh God.
Another fun fact with a paladin, just a side fun fact, because of an ability called Divine Health, he can't be addicted to drugs, because drug addiction is a disease, and technically he's immune to all diseases. So he can take as much cocaine as he wants. So with the addition of the spells, the cocaine, and a bard spell that our wonderful vampire bard has, I worked out that my paladin can do a automatic 37 damage with his axe before rolling. This is, of course, not evil going up against an undead creature. But yeah, 37.
A lot of lower level creatures can be instantly killed.
Yeah, a lot, like level, was it 3 or 3 downwards for like even the highest HP classes. But
and
it's like,
even people in our own party.
Like I once, another fun fact from my paladin, he has a trait for every creature he kills. He collects their head.
He collects the heads.
And what my paladin will use them for, well, I don't know yet, but I'm thinking head armor.
That'll take a lot of heads.
It will, but I've got a lot of killing to do, and I'm pretty sure that there is a 60-foot tall construct that needs a bitch making.
Well, you can take the construct's head, just not all the skulls and spines.
Oh no! I don't want the skulls inside. They're going to be given a proper burial as a paladin will give. The construct's metal head, well, that's going to be a cod piece.
Oh God!
I'm going to call it the cod piece of head on, bitch.
Oh, technically you should ask the DM about like the demon skulls, which you already have. They have to be kind of big, right? Because they're big creatures. It's like at least
skeleton's a humanoid. So I've got 2 skeleton heads. So the bone devil was a humanoid, so that's about the size of a human.
I just wasn't sure. Because
The
normally when you
the
picture it's like a giant demon, like, okay, not humanoid at
that's the
all.
thing. The first head that I got, the demon's head, that might be the size of a horse's skull, maybe.
Mm.
That's how he described it to me. So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
I'll.
you're gonna take
But
a lot of
it's still going to
heads.
take like a whole long time, and then magic bloody crafting armor. But apparently, I might be able to get something that's blessed by the gods to the point where anything that touches me that's evil takes damage. I'm okay with that.
Armor of Smite Evil.
Armor of Smite Evil because you and your mum too.
Oh god. Okay. I think before we completely get derailed because of Pathfinder, do you like puns?
Oh god. So there's this one guy in our group who's there and mostly he's not. Good friend of mine. He's been there since the start, like of near the start of when I started narrating. He makes so many puns, and because I used to be the creator of
Potato.
the old group back when Theatre Obscurum was the thing, I used to kick him out every time he had made a pun. So I made it a rule: you get one per day. You get one pun per day. After that, I'll kick you from the room. He has tested my patience so many times. Like, I enjoy a good pun once in a while, but his is just unbearable.
The potato.
Yes, the potato, Spudnik.
Because the moment you said it, I already knew because people always tell me about all of his puns. So, no, you don't like puns. Is the short answer.
No, I like puns, but I don't like them in excess.
Okay.
Like, over and over and over again.
True. True. Do you have any tips for writers?
The same thing that goes with a narrator. Don't let anyone tell you can't do it. When I started out writing, I was writing some less than mentionable fan fiction options in this world. I wrote Mary Sue characters. One of my characters was a very huge Mary Sue, to the point where he'd landed in this strange land, adopted a daughter that wasn't even the same species as him, cut off his own arm, was given a robotic arm that then could make magic, and then the end of the story, he literally harnessed into life energy to bring his sister back to life, who was brought to that land as well, and then died, but was brought back to life again. It was really horrible, Mary Sue. Here's the thing: it's the fact that the old adage goes, hindsight is 20/20. I couldn't see how bad it was until I was outside of it. I go back and I read it now, and it's horrible. But it's where I started, and I'd never give it up for anything. I got told when I first started as a narrator by someone who thought he was a better writer that my writing wasn't good enough to talk about serious matters like rape or the Holocaust or something like that. And I wanted to prove him wrong, to the point where I wrote a story that involved the Holocaust. And it was honestly tastefully done, I think. Opinions do matter to me, and people have said that it is fairly tasteful and a great outlook. It was based on a true story that I once a true experience I had. But I submitted to this guy under a different name. He said it was very good, and I said, well, like you said to him, well, you said to me that my writing wasn't good enough to do this. And like, no, I talked to that someone else. I'm like, yes, that's me. I chose a different name. This guy was the kind of writer. He wasn't a bad writer from what I saw, but he was the bad kind of writer, the bad kind of person you look up to. It's like he was so worried. He seemed so worried that he wouldn't get a book deal that he tried to take out the competition before they even had a chance to start by telling people they weren't good enough and going around and saying he's already got a book deal. Writing will evolve for you. You'll eventually pick up certain traits for your writing. Me, I can write fairly well with more dramatic pieces. I can put a lot of emotion into my work, and I found that people do enjoy it. But it's taken me years to get it down. I still don't think I'm up to a high enough level where I can publish something as of yet. I'm in the works for something right now, but it's still, miles away from where I want it to be. But basically, just do it. Go out, write it. If you've got a story in your head, write it down. If, think of the best advice I can ever give comes from the Studio Ghibli film Whispers of the Heart, because it does talk about how to become a writer. Imagine your story to be like a geode, a raw geode, cut, uncut, unpolished, but with specks of good in it. You need to take your story that you've written and then just start chipping away at things, finding things that can be better. Read it, reread it. If you've got a computer that has 2 or more screens, put the story up on one screen, a blank document on the next, and then rewrite it. Rewrite it again and figure out where you can change things. Find out where you've made mistakes. Find out if the continuum is steady. And then do it again. Then have someone read it, see what they think. If you ever get into one method that I had, if I ever had a writer's block, is I went on to a different story. I wrote 3 stories at once because I'd get a writer's block on story number 1. So I'd start in story number 2 and do some stuff like that. And if I got a writer's block on story number 2, I try to go back to number 1. If I couldn't do that, I started number 3. And juggling those 3 was easy for me because I can keep focused on separate things at once. Some people might not be able to do that, but it helps if you just take your mind off A and put it onto B. Write another story. Don't even make it something you want to show people. Just write it out. Write about, a love story between a whale and a giant squid. Forbidden Romeo and Juliet romance like that. But just write it for your own good. Make it fun. Make it dramatic. Base it, like people say, don't base characters off people but do that. Have fun with it because it's your writing. You build from experience in this world, and that's the only way you're going to keep going. I doubt that anyone in this world would have been able to write stories like Harry Potter or The Lord of the Rings or Shakespeare if they didn't base anything off their own lives. Harry Potter is based in England, where J.K. Rowling lives. Lord of the Rings is a great fantasy novel written by Tolkien. Damn it, it's great. You've just got to take experience from your own life, but don't base it heavily, I guess.
Okay. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything?
42.
What is the ultimate question?
I'll have to think about it.
What is 6 times 7?
42.
Exactly. That's the ultimate question, because what is the answer? If the answer is 42, what is the question? What is 6 times 7?
Yeah, well, what is the question? How many ducks can I beat up before the police come get me? 42. How many Mars bars can I eat in a single sitting before I go out and buy a Snickers? 42.
True.
So many questions.
There are an unlimited amount of questions with the with the answer 42. But it's always nice to know when people understand my references. Do you like to voice good guys or bad guys?
Honestly, I'm not opposed to either. Playing a good guy is always fun because he's heroic and he's brave and he's always there to help out. But playing the bad guy, you get to do what you want. You get to sit there and you monologue, you gloat. Oh, you'll think you've caught me, but I'm just a hologram, darling.
On my end, I cannot hear you. This has happened once before.
I am so sorry.
I at least know that. Here we hold on. Sorry. No. Sorry about that. Talk.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. My headphones weren't plugged in all the way, so could you... I didn't quite get your answer for the last question.
Well, I'm not opposed to playing either bad or good guys, because you play a good guy, he's heroic, he's brave, he's strong. Not always strong, not always brave, not always heroic, but he's a good guy. And most of the time, he'll win in the end. I've written stories where the bad guy wins in the end, but that's okay. But also playing the bad guy, you get to do what you want. You'll sit there, you gloat, you monologue. Darling, you think you've caught me, but I'm merely a monogram. You think I was going to say hologram, right? But no, I'm a monogrammed handkerchief. See this little M? I'm evil. Sounds mwahaha.
Okay, so are there any special voices which you can do?
It's hard. New character actually thought up for a friend of mine's comic he's designing. This came from a ventriloquist act I once saw, and I used to watch it all the time, and I used to listen to it back in the days where you had to record a ringtone for your phone. So I used to have this as my ringtone. Well, I was in this hotel, but it wasn't a hotel. But it was. But it wasn't. But it was. But it wasn't. But it was. Oh, great. Now I'm bored. Now I'm not. Now I'm bored. Now I'm not. Get your own dream. Fine. I'm in this pool filled with naked ladies. Rubbing it down with pledge. Doesn't that stink? Well, it depends where you put it. And I used to do that all the time during school. But I think one of my most famous, not famous because people know I can do it, but famous because he was a famous actor back in the early 20th century. I can do a fairly good imitation of Boris Karloff's voice, which I use in the podcast for a narrator piece. Good evening, children. Are we sitting comfortably? Have we got our snacks ready? Tommy, did you go to the bathroom already? I don't need you getting up during my piece. Go to the bathroom, Tommy. There's a good boy. Darling Boo-Boo, you know I love you. There's no one else in this world for me.
That's cool. And I mean, I don't have a particular voice other than the child voice, which I've already talked about. And
funny enough, I can't actually do a child's voice. Like, my voice is I guess the term's baritone, to do a child's voice. So when I was asked by the podcast creators to voice a child during a dry reading, the line was, "But what about the line was, but what about the mamas and the papas?" referencing a band. And they're waiting for me to do it, and I'm just like, "But what about the mamas and the papas?" And they absolutely lost it. I made them break so hard with this book. And that actually
yes, you did.
In the podcast because it's just so, like, I know there may be an episode coming up in the that we've spoken about with them, but don't know when it's going to be. When our certain characters get turned into children,
Oh
and
God.
because they know that one of my more well-used characters, Captain Australia. Because I can't do a kid's voice, basically, Kid Captain Australia sounds just like Captain Australia. And just like, yeah, nah, Mum told me that from a very young age, I got my balls dropped pretty damn fast, like 2 or 3. So before I could even talk, my voice was dropped.
I mean, you could attempt to do at least a teenager.
Well, so welcome to Burger Monarch. Can I take your order?
Not quite that voice cracky.
Welcome to Burger Monarch. Can I take your order?
No, that doesn't really sound like it.
It happened again.
Okay. I mean, with me, my kid voice is, lowering my voice down, I think. Maybe. Either that or raising it up. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, this is my kid voice, as you know. I'm bad at doing accents with the kid voice. As you
Very
also...
hard to do kid voices. Yes. I can do Consuela from Family Guy. No. And I will do that. Once I figure out how to mod Fallout 4, I will be releasing a mod that turns all Deathclaw screams into Consuela. No, Mr. Vault 110, no here. Kitty.
There's already a mod for Fallout 4, I think, that turns the Fat Boy shooter, instead of the really pitiful whistle that it does, turns it into John Cena.
John Cena.
Da, 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 da. Oh God. Sorry, it just reminds me of a hilarious, stupid commercial thing I did for my school for a class assignment. And we happened to use the John Cena thing for the main theme, and it's just, oh God, that video was so bad. Anyway.
Actually, I think one of my favorite John Cena's things, and I never expected it, but it made me crack up laughing, is if you've ever seen the Wicked stage show, the story of the Wicked Witch of the West and how she came to be. She has that song called The Wizard and I. And just the crescendo, she's like, the wizard and it immediately changed to John Cena! And I'm like, you son of a...
That is hilarious, I have to admit. The wizard and John Cena.
No witch could take over the land because of John Cena.
If you were a superhero, what powers would you have?
Oh, I think for this one's already been decided. I'd be able to see into the future.
Oh yeah, you would become Captain Australia. Wait. But you see, if you became the literal Captain Australia, you couldn't see what happens in Australia, only in America.
No. I'd be able. That's the thing. That's what people don't really understand. That's not how Captain Australia's powers work. And I want to get this straight for everyone. Captain Australia can see 7 hours into the future for somewhere like America. He can see about a minute into the future for Australia. He can't see past his own goddamn common sense, which is why he seems to get into so much trouble, or why he keeps answering the door for that god-awful carnival. Yeah, I'm not her boyfriend.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I'm getting that out. I'm getting this right. Getting this out in the record right now. I, Shelby Albright, aka Captain Australia, am not Carnival's bloody boyfriend. The way she keeps saying it.
Well, actually, technically, in real life, you are.
No. That's Shelby Albright. Me, I am deadly in love with Carney.
But
Like,
you voice
God
Cat
help
in
you.
Australia, and she voices Carney.
Yeah, she voices Carney.
So technically, it's real.
Because every time I have to say I'm not your boyfriend, it breaks my goddamn heart.
Oh.
Couldn't say that with a straight face.
I mean, because in real life you are.
But
spoilers.
I actually had this thought today that I'm going to pitch to the writers of the podcast, but like a Carnival episode, just like surrounded around Carnival, and it's basically, you know, Catherine Australia narrating just like, you know, everyday Carmen Dante was a normal woman until she was bitten by a radioactive carnival person. That's not how it happened. That's how I tell everyone it happened. You were bitten by a carny dog. What's with the dog? Because you're such an uptight bit, and he just gets knocked away. But honestly, like there's a few powers I'd love to have. There's one that I call spectator mode. Basically, it's a mixture of time travel, flight, and being intangible. Because there's so many mysteries in this world. Who really shot JFK? What really happened at Roswell? What is at the bottom of the ocean, at the very deepest point? And my curiosity gets the best of me.
You would travel back in time just to see what happened in those specific events.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell anyone.
Pause time to figure out what happened, and then go back.
Just for my own enjoyment, and see what's at the bottom of the ocean. There's another one that I found in a joke, but it was a really good idea. The ability to put your hand in your pocket and whenever you have to pay for something and having exact change. Because everyone's like, I want $1 million, I want $1 billion. But money runs out like that. Imagine having a wallet you just open up and it's got exact change in it, whether it's the morning paper or a Rolls Royce.
It's like, oh, just let me check my wallet. Ta-da! Exactly. How much? Now, exactly how much is it that you want? Oh, okay. Oh, but would it work if someone kept changing the price? Like if it was like $5, like if it were $5.90, and then like say a deal went bad and the payment hadn't, you hadn't paid them yet, and so they jumped up the price to $10.99 or something. Or dropped it down because then you two started bartering. Like, okay, fine, it's $8.
That would be very persuasive.
If you were ruler of the world, what laws would you make and why?
Quit fucking killing fuckers, you fucking fuckers. I don't know. I'd probably make gay marriage legal in Australia. I still can't believe it hasn't been done yet. America's ahead of us on that one. It's supposed to happen later this year, but I don't know yet. I don't know. Like, some of the laws that I see these days are pretty... I'm not big on... I'm not well versed on a lot of laws, so basically just I actually, if I was the leader of the free world, I'd hire Jim Fear to be my Secretary of Defense and let him figure out the laws, because he's got a pretty good idea on a lot of things.
And you would also pay him to say magic. Wouldn't you?
No, I'd pay him not to say it, just to get on your nerves.
Why?
Because I can.
But why? I mean, magic. Or just bring up the Tumblr post what he made. Oh God, he's gonna get so annoyed that we mentioned this.
No. When he walks in on stage, that's all that's going to play. It's just going to start with like, and he, I wouldn't even have Secret Servicemen. I'd just like, come at me, bro. You want to fight?
But still, that Tumblr post, it's hilarious. Clack, 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 clack. I might have to get Jim on here. Jim,
Oh, yeah, you need Jim on here.
I
it's just like,
Jim on
the
my...
final question I have for you is...
Yeah, the final question I have for you is play the audio. Oh, no, or ask him to say it himself. To say his post himself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, one last thing I want you to do. Read this out loud. I'm going to totally bring up getting him on here.
Toast my goats.
If I can, when there's the Dapper call.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're still doing the recording thing, because I'm not sure, because yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even sure if I'm going to be a part of recording Space Oddities episode 3.
7,412.
Yeah. It's script 5,000. It seems like. So it seems. Yeah. What is your favorite animal, if any?
Favorite animal. I gotta say, it's hard to choose a favorite animal because I love bears because my paladin will soon have one as a mount, and I love crocodiles because Captain Australia has one for a mount. But I think the coolest Australian animal that we have, two. Sorry, I'm sorry, but I got to do two because the most venomous land snake in the world is the inland taipan, found in Australia, of course.
Oh, everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Basically, including the people. But yeah, it has... one dose of venom can kill 183 men. Adult men. It has yet to kill a single human being. Yeah, that's what I always found funny. The fact is that... But wombats, those cute little fuzzy wombats that run around, can run at about 30 miles per hour and can come to a complete stop, like stop on a dime kind of thing.
Like
they also have...
Roadrunner?
Yeah, like Roadrunner. Except the fact that they also have a bone in the back end of their body. They have a bone in their ass. So thick, it's like concrete. And when they're being chased by dingoes and quolls and stuff like that want to kill them and eat them, they run at 30 miles per hour, have the animal chase them, and then come to a complete stop on a dime. Because the animal, the dingo behind him can't stop that fast, will crash into the wombat and break his neck on the concrete ass. It literally twerks animals to death. And that is the most metal thing about Australia.
Yes. Other than the fact that everything wants to kill you.
Yeah, basically everything will kill you in Australia. Oh, if you ever come to Australia, like this is just a warning for people out there and who don't know. If you ever come to Australia and you are bitten by any snake that isn't a death adder, so what an adder is, basically like a rattlesnake, big vipers, triangular heads, that kind of thing. You'll know it when you see it. If you're bitten by any other snake that isn't an adder, so a triangle head, don't move. Don't move a muscle. Just sit down, call emergency services, get someone else to call emergency services for you. Remember what that snake looked like, and just sit there. Because a man in Queensland, northern end of Australia, was bitten by an inland taipan. No, it was king brown. Sorry, a king brown snake, which is still number like a top 5 venomous snakes in Australia. He was bitten by king brown. He sat down where he was, called up the emergency services, and stayed there for 3 days. And he survived. Because snake venom, the reason that Australian snakes, most of them are so deadly, is because they can't inject like vipers can, like a rattlesnake can. They don't have muscles to do it. So it drips down their fangs. They've got like indentation, like a reservoir kind of thing that drips down, which is also why it's so potent, because it needs to kill animals fast because it doesn't have that much to use. The venom doesn't travel through the bloodstream like it does for most snakes. It travels through the lymph node system, which is below the muscles. So you move the muscles, it travels closer to your heart. You sit down, you don't move your muscles, you're fine.
Or lay down, or...
I'd suggest sitting, just so you don't mess with any other snakes, but just sit there calmly, try to keep control. Would it be okay if I told a story when I got bitten by a snake?
Sure.
When I was 7 years old, I got bitten by a snake. I got bitten by a copperhead, which is top 10. So, like, it's high. It's high up. Like, I don't know how high up it is, but it's very venomous. I got bitten in the chest when I was 7 years old. I walked 2 blocks home, told my dad that I got bitten by an animal, and he had a look. Immediately, he chucked me in the car, told me to lie as still as I could, and took me to the hospital. They don't know how I survived the 2-block walk, but I did. I was the most badass 7-year-old I ever met.
Yes.
That was also the same year, and I was telling our friend Maria about this. I love dogs. I will have dogs so much. Dogs are adorable because they're stupid lovely. They're huge derps and all that kind of stuff. And I will stick to the fact there is no such thing as a bad dog, just bad owners. I had a friend who had this huge German Shepherd. Like, this thing could take me down when I was 7 years old. I went round to his house one day. He wasn't home, but the gate was left open and his German Shepherd got out. And he bit me. He bit me on the foot. He bit right through my leather boot. When my friend came home, and this was around the same time I stopped talking to him because he left the gate open. When my friend came home, he found out his dog had a broken jaw. Because I kicked that dog with all my worth. And I'm like, I feel bad for it, but he trained that dog wrong. He taught it to jump, and he taught it to bite people. He didn't discipline it when it jumped all over people, and he didn't discipline it when it bit people. I'm okay when dogs nip people, but the difference between a nip and a bite for me is drawing blood and full jaw. Like, my sister has 2 Rottweilers, and Rottweilers get a really bad rap for being vicious dogs. These 2, Lily and Bear, are the biggest goddamn derps I've ever met. They literally, they'll lick the hell out of my baby niece. She's only 1.5 years old, but they'll crawl up to her, even though they're bigger than her. They'll crawl up to her, pat her with, boot her with their snoots, and then lick her. And she loves it. It's all about how you raise the dog.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
My mom has a dog, and her name is Honey. And she's a Jack Russell and like some sort of hound mix. So she's very high energy. Oh my gosh.
And
you see, the thing is, we didn't get her when she was a puppy. Well, technically we did, but still. She was abandoned outside of Walmart. Of all places. So she is just a sweetheart. She is a lovable dog, even though she is super annoying at times. And she also hates deer because, like, during, I think, like, the first year or so when we had her, whenever she would be outside, like, the deer would terrorize her. So now anytime she sees a deer, she goes ballistic.
Oh, and I've told this to you, but I'm going to tell everyone around here. When my paladin gets bear, my paladin's bear is going to act like a Labrador. And I mean full-on derp. Just licking everyone. We've got a dwarf in the group. The bear's going to lick the dwarf.
We have an elf in the group.
We used to have more elves, but yeah, we've got an elf in the group. You're gonna lick the elf.
An elven noble, nonetheless, but no one knows.
The paladin's getting a few ideas.
Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. Oh yeah, that's gonna really be interesting. Like, after the after we conclude this, I'm going to ask you about that. Now, you probably won't tell me, but still, I can ask.
Okay.
Anyway, I think I've run out of questions to ask you. Except for this, do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. If a guy got kitten hair implanted into his beard, would that make it softer?
I honestly don't know because I'm not a biology type person. Um, I mean, it might, but it wouldn't grow.
I don't know.
And kittens are super soft and adorable, and kittens are. Anyway, any more questions?
Um, no. No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, this has been Elf Queen, and I thank you all for joining me. I hope you like the sound of my voice, and subscribe.